Hey, what's going on, everybody? I want to talk a little bit about if you are a small business owner, you're an entrepreneur, maybe you're doing taxes or you're a construction person and you're busier than what you can handle. Maybe you do lawn and landscape and you, quite frankly, have been approached by a marketer like me that says, hey, do you want to do some digital marketing? But you're like, I'm way too busy. I don't want to do that. I have some advice for you real quick. I want you to start thinking about when you hear digital marketing, people shouldn't be convincing you to spend on Facebook or Google or YouTube or anything like that. The foundations of great digital marketing are to have a website that brings people along the buyer's journey. It helps people, and the buyer's journey has three sections to it. One, they become aware of you, somehow intersecting with you. That could be advertisement. It could just be a blog post that talks about something, but then they go into consideration mode and then decision-making mode, and you have assets on your website, on all your social media platforms, your branding, your tools, all work together to move people along towards not knowing about you, to finding you, to learning how to be a great customer, and then choosing you, right? That's really what you want, and you move them to be delighted customers. Well, if you're so busy that you're like, I don't need to advertise, I really want to challenge you to think of digital marketing not so much as marketing to acquire more sales, but you should be working very diligently to capture the great things that are happening. What do I mean by that? I would recommend that you ensure that your website, your Google My Business page, your social media platforms are showing every single job that you do. It's showing every client that you've satisfied. Try and get a review from almost every single person you talk to. I don't talk about very many things. It always comes down to the same foundation. You need to show people that you are worthy of trust, that you execute on the things that you told people to, and that you're a great value and that you get results, or that you're a great value if you're a product that's a little bit different than a service. And the only way you can do that is to show evidence of the things that you've done, to showcase the stuff that you've done. And if you're going to showcase things, boy, I tell you what, your website, your Google My Business, even YouTube are the best inbound methods. And then your social media platforms like Facebook and LinkedIn and Instagram are the equivalent of you putting information out in front of people watching Full House on television back in the 90s, or it's like you advertising on Friends, really, because people are sitting there looking at their phones, and then you can advertise to get in front of them. That's what's so great about the social media side of things. But if you're busier than what you can handle right now, my challenge to you would be to either hire a firm like us here at forwardco.com and feedbackwrench.com to come alongside of you to make sure that you get professional pictures of every job that you're doing. Be on site, record what you're doing. Don't just rely on your squad to take some crooked photo. Get great photos of every project, of every job, of every sale, of everything that you're doing. Get a customer testimonial of every satisfied client that you have the favor of. Invite them into your office. We do a thing where people can come into our place at our St. Paul office here, and we'll just, hey, we wanted to have you come in and ask you some questions about what it was like to be a client, and we'd love to, you can just buy somebody a gift certificate for dinner or something as a reward for doing this, but get client testimonials, get Google reviews. Take time to slow down and text people. Call your customers. Tell them you're calling for a selfish reason. Get Google reviews. If you have third-party vendor sites that are important to you, get reviews on those. But follow up with your clients and do whatever it takes to record what's going well when you're in these big boom times. If you're doing so much work that you don't need to advertise, that's great. In fact, the best companies don't really have to advertise. But if you take time to record what's going well, to show evidence that you do what you claim you do, a couple of things will happen. First of all, you will have a web presence that is essentially your company in a lot of ways. What I mean by that is when you go to retire, or if you want to sell your company, if you have the most dominant web presence around, a website and a Google My Business platform, something just locked and loaded, oozing with evidence that you guys have been producing great work, what's going to happen is that there's value to that. It will be kicking out more leads, and when your business website and digital footprint is kicking out leads, a potential buyer will think that that's great. Not only might you be able to sell your business, even if you're a little LLC, if you're just a sole prop guy that you're like, when I die, I kick the can, that's it. No, baloney. You have got to think through what it's going to mean when you want to retire and you can't. When you want to retire and maybe you can. Either way, your business can be an asset that you can either sell or even draw upon if you set up the right systems. You find an apprentice to come up underneath you. And if you have a web presence that's just dominating because it shows the great work that you've done, it takes your legacy and solidifies it. What's going to happen is somebody can come up underneath you and take the reins of your company and move forward. I'm telling you, companies that have great web presences, branding, and conveys the trust that they have earned and received will have a ton of options when it comes to retirement or the end of their life. And that'd be the last thing. You might not be thinking about this, but if you're just a sole proprietor and you pass along, your company does pretty much die with you, unless you have some other partnership opportunities. But I tell you what, if you became a corporation, then you could basically have somebody else have shares of this. And if your digital footprint is kicking out more leads and is still dominant in your sector, you can sell it. You can find somebody to buy leads from you. You will have flexibility for you and your heirs. See, a lot of people forget about this. If you're a business owner and you've been, mitigating your taxes your whole life, your retirement assets might look strange. And in order for you to have options, investing in your digital footprint, investing in proving and showing what you've done is so incredibly important that there's pretty much nothing else that will show the evidence of the work you've done. Otherwise, you'll get to the end of the year or even the end of the decade and you'll look back and all you'll have is all the stories of what you did. You'll have an accounting paper trail of the jobs that you had. But if you invest in professional photography, videography, and getting reviews from your clients, that trust and that execution's all bottled up. I hope that's helpful. Have a wonderful day.